There are many sources of information about World War II veterans, but little has been documented about the experience of Virgin Islands veterans in this war. The surviving group of veterans provides a rich source of historical and social perspectives that need to be collected before they are lost forever.
Well, there wasn't much work when I was coming up as a boy. Things were cheap. The wages were very, very low. And the people really survived, not in bartering, but in being nice to each other. They would exchange produce. What I didn't have, you would give me. And we survived that way.
Yeah, I was on the island. We were drafted. The draft was not extended to the islands originally, but some of the very dedicated islanders who thought they would have been very un-American-like if the Virgin Islands were not participating in World War II. Raised a little hullabaloo about us not being entitled to serve our country in the war. And so they quickly hacked up something that whereby an ordinance was passed and made it eligible, made us eligible to enlist, to volunteer, whatever we wanted.
Graduated from high school, senior high school in Christiansted, and I got a position to teach at Diamond School. And at the closing of the school year, June 30th, I came home, excuse me, and my mother presented to me this letter from the U.S. government. When I opened it, I looked and I smiled. It was a greeting from President Roosevelt, telling me that I'm now picked to go to Manning's Bay to do my physical, see if I was able to join the United States Army. I went up there and I took the physical. I passed. On the day that they called in my number, I was assigned a number already, and they called in 3044-0311, and I'm just there. My mind is somewhere else, and I just didn't recognize or realize that was the number that was assigned to me that was being called. And one of my buddies knew my number by heart also, and he took his elbow and he punched me in the side. He said, "Man, that's your number." I said, "Oh, here." He said, "You're in the Army now, son." And that's about what it was. Then we called the rest of the other fellows that passed the physical, and we were lined up, and those that they didn't call were told that they didn't pass the physical. So they were sent home, and we were assigned to a barracks on the base until time to leave St. Croix.
This documentary will explore how the Virgin Islanders reacted to those challenges and how their lives may have been changed by their military experiences.
I would say it was hard taking for some of the things that we was loading to go back to the States, and some of the ships you could see, where I would say, in the different helmets with bullet hole through them, and some of them blood stained, and say, you know, that they were shipping back to the States, I guess. It was an awful sight. Yeah.
And after about a day of marching, we went into apple orchard. I've never seen an apple orchard before, apple tree. I had to go all the way to France to see an apple tree, and ordered everybody to pitch your pup tent. That was the term, pitch. So your half and my half. Just throw your gear in there. And in the night is when we got more scared, because apparently in warfare you can move around more easily in the night without detection, and shooting, bang, bang, things dropping, apples. I thought I was killed one time. Something dropped. I mean, it was a green apple, but I didn't realize it. Bam! God, I did. But when I caught myself, I wasn't hurting, but I was dead. My buddy said, "Stop this chipping this. That's an apple. You sit there." I said, "Oh God, thank God." Great. I think it's the greatest thing to the experience of being in the Army for me up to that point. I really, I'm glad for the opportunity since I came out alive, you know?
Veterans from the Virgin Islands faced unique challenges as they left a small, predominantly African, Caribbean, American community to join the segregated armed forces of the United States.
When we were in South Carolina, we would go into a store and the clerks would ignore us completely. We could go into the store, but the clerks would ignore us completely until we started speaking Spanish. I mean, I say that because I usually travel around with a couple of Spanish guys since I knew them. Until we started speaking Spanish, the clerks would ignore us completely. And then when we spoke Spanish, we got all the service we wanted in the world because we weren't native blacks. Do you understand what I'm getting at? So that that's the kind of thing that we confronted while we were there.
And what made it worse then was when the commander in charge used to refer to us as "you colored girls," not "you wax" or "you ladies" or anything, but "you colored girls." And he kept saying this so many times that it got annoying for me to hear this, because we are girls just like colorless. But he made it emphasize that you colored girls ought to be glad you're wearing the uniform. That's when I wanted to go to war. I mean, physical war.
There was a segregation at that time. And on the armed forces and the armed services. President Truman, he made a statement. He's the man responsible for integration in the service today. Trial around the end of World War II or after the end, he made a statement that if a man can defend his country, he shouldn't be segregated. He shouldn't be segregated against. But I said,